So what's going on, guys? It is Pony. We're back with another gameplay. We got some Halo 3 right now. We got some this isn't BRs. I think this is a regular Slayer on arrows. And I'm gonna have a little talksy poo with you guys about this little thing. I was thinking about, one thing that I do late at night. What were you guys thinking of right now? You were thinking of fucking, weren't you? Weren't you? No. Actually, I sit in bed and I think about topics to talk about for videos to entertain you guys. So that is the perfect example of what I want to talk about today, and that is what I call trigger words. Now, just me saying trigger words can honestly, flop a few things in your head. You may think of like a word game. You may think of an actual trigger like on a weapon. But in reality, the whole show is going to be about words that make you trigger something and what you think about when you do it. So you guys may be able to put on your little thinking caps and go along with what I'm doing in this. And I just want to do this as an experiment, as a little bit of lulz. And you guys can list down in the description, not in the description, but in the comments below what you guys honestly thought about when you heard such and such. So, we're going to start off number one. When I hear the word stoner, I think of Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. And you guys are like, oh, wow, yeah. And I bet a lot of you guys actually think of Shaggy as your first natural instinct, unless there's someone you know that's in your crew, your family, your grandma, whoever it may be, that really just goes to ham on it. It's usually the first thing that I think about when I think stoner. I think Scooby-Doo, which is really kind of fucked up because that's a kid's show. You know what I'm talking about? So, why is it that the first thing I think about is a kid's show? Because he just reminds me of a stoner. I mean, is that weird? Does that trigger to anyone else? I hope I'm not the only one that looks to a TV show when we hear stoner. But that's not one of the only situations. When I hear the word fart, I think of my father, and I think of Peter from Family Guy. Now, you guys are like, oh, yeah. And I don't know if it's because of all the fart jokes or anything like that, but I honestly do think about that all the time. I mean, my father really used to fart. He used to torment me. I'd wake up, he'd try to fuck with me. I'd be in bed or something, and he'd come in and just fart and trap me under the blanket or something like that to be an asshole. Or I'd be laying on the couch, sleeping or something. Did a dude just say, I fapped a voice, sent me a message? Oh, my God. So, anyways, back to story time. Trigger words. My father used to, when I was, sleeping, it could be, 10 in the morning or something. He'd literally come sit on me and fart. So I have some images, historical importances of my past where, farts were, locked in. That was a trigger. I think of my father because he used to torment me with his, gas. His gaseous ass. And in turn, the other one would be, Family Guy, something that's more cartoonish. And I don't know what it is about a cartoon. And I don't know if it's just because it is an icon or what it is about it. But that's one of the things that I think about when I do that. Now, we're going to move on to another word. It's just one crazy trigger. Child abuse. What, Paul? What kind of topic is that? Exactly, a triggered word. If I was to say child abuse, what's the first thing to pop in your head? Hey, it may have been you. But I really think it's one of those instances, unless you actually experienced it, it wouldn't happen. So when I think child abuse, I think Britney Spears. I know, but I would be free to accept possible answers such as any father that's ever caught their teenage son singing Justin Bieber. That would have been one scenario. Now, I don't know what it is about these things that really trigger in our mind. And if it's not past experiences, it's usually something in the media that has given it that icon, that kind of personality behind it, because I hear murder or something and I think, Stewie from Family Guy. I think something like that. I think, it would be more logical to trigger a horror movie, but there's really not too much I can do. You could think Leatherface or something, but, murder, I honestly don't know what to do. So, there's a lot of different things, I guess, that trigger ones, and I just think it's kind of weird that a lot of cartoons or a lot of medias or shows are what really trigger that. Is that the kind of impact that, the world has on us? They kind of, tell us, in a way, what triggers and what to think. I mean, that's how the media works. That's how they get through to us. That's how they make us buy their products and stuff. I mean, that's how everything works. When you think cheeseburger, I think, let's go get one. It's like, when I think cheeseburger, I think McDonald's. Yeah, there's Burger King. Yeah, there's Wendy's. But when I honestly hear cheeseburger, and I think it's McDonald's, because I see most of McDonald's companies, I see, the fact that I think they don't have the number one stores in the world anymore. I think that's Subway, but they used to. So, that's an icon. When you think cheeseburger, you think stoner. And then when you think stoner, you think, oh, look at Shaggy. Zoinks. And that's just kind of the feel that I've had about that. Is like some of these trigger words, and that's what they do. It's what the media and the companies do. Is they make you buy their products by having a certain way, a certain icon to be a trigger to you, and it's kind of awkward. You know, if I was to say to you, bullshit, my first instinct would be Call of Duty. It'd be Death Streaks, right? I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't actually be the fact that it's bull feces. It would probably be the fact that, you know, I'm thinking of Call of Duty. So, it's kind of awkward. It's kind of awkward. And but if I was to say a word like ice, some of you guys may be like, oh yeah, I want an icy, or possibly ice cube. You know what I mean? Not like the unsuccessful rapper actor, but I'm talking about like an actual ice cube. Like, hey, I'm thirsty, I want one. I, on the other hand, think Vanilla Ice. I grew up on that, man. It was the Ice Ice Baby. That's all day long. And that was one of the triggers. That's something I remember. I mean, from a one-hit wonder, but he still is known. I mean, when you think and hear the word ice, if you're any sort of person that's of age, you guys probably know exactly what it is. That probably triggered you. When I hear ice, I think Ice Ice Baby. So, what is it? Now, I guess this is a grand question. What would be one of the words and or trigger words that would make you think of a gameplay commentator, and specifically me? So if there was a certain word or words, what would they be that make you think of me instantly? I mean, I know sexy's one of them. You can't use that. I don't want you all to say the same exact thing. We're going to have to go with something. You know, I expect people to say ducky swag or get it or with my penis or something. So let me know down in the comments below, what's a trigger word that instantly makes you think of me? I know. Flatter me. Go on. $20 you spend the next couple hours thinking of more trigger words and what would make you think of them. You're welcome.